Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to learn the past continuous tense, an important English tense that helps us talk about actions that were happening at a specific time in the past. This tense allows us to describe activities that were in progress, actions that were interrupted by another event, and situations where two actions were happening at the same time. Learning the past continuous tense will help you tell stories more clearly and describe past events in greater detail. The past continuous tense is formed using was or were plus verb ing. For example, I was studying English, she was reading a book, and they were playing football. Notice that the verb ends in ing because the action was ongoing or in progress at a particular moment in the past. We often use the past continuous tense when we want to answer questions such as, what were you doing at that time? Or, what was happening when something else occurred? For example, I was doing my homework at 8 p.m., or she was cooking when the phone rang. In these examples, the past continuous helps us understand that the action was already happening before another event took place. Another common use of the past continuous tense is when two actions were happening simultaneously. For example, I was studying while my brother was watching TV, or the teacher was explaining the lesson while the students were taking notes. This tense helps us create a clear picture of events in the past. As English learners, mastering the past continuous tense will improve your speaking and writing skills. It will help you describe experiences, tell interesting stories, and explain what was happening in the past with greater accuracy. Throughout this lesson, you will learn how to form the tense correctly, when to use it, and how to avoid common mistakes. Let's begin our journey into the past continuous tense and discover how useful it is in everyday English communication. The past continuous tense is used to talk about an action that was happening at a specific time in the past. It describes an activity that was in progress or ongoing at a particular moment in the past. Unlike the past simple tense, which focuses on completed actions, the past continuous focuses on the duration or continuation of an action. The structure of the past continuous tense is subject plus was or were plus verb ing. Examples: I was studying English. She was reading a book. They were playing football. We were watching television. He was working on a project. 1. Actions happening at a specific time in the past. The most common use of the past continuous tense is to describe an action that was happening at a particular moment in the past. Examples: I was doing my homework at 8 p.m. last night. She was cooking dinner at 6 p.m. They were playing football yesterday afternoon. We were watching a movie at that time. He was sleeping when I called him. These actions were in progress during a specific time in the past. 2. An action interrupted by another action. The past continuous is often used with the past simple tense. The past continuous describes the ongoing action, while the past simple describes the action that interrupted it. Examples: I was studying when my friend called. She was cooking when the electricity went out. They were playing football when it started to rain. We were having dinner when the guests arrived. He was driving when he saw the accident. Structure: past continuous plus, when plus past simple. 3. Two actions happening at the same time in the past. We use the past continuous when two activities were happening simultaneously. Examples: I was studying while my brother was watching TV. She was cooking while her husband was cleaning the house. They were playing football while we were practicing basketball. We were talking while the teacher was writing on the board. The children were laughing while their parents were chatting. Structure: past continuous plus, while plus past continuous. 4. Setting the scene in a story. Writers often use the past continuous to describe the background situation in stories. Examples: the sun was shining, and the birds were singing. People were walking along the beach. The children were playing in the park. Cars were moving slowly through the city. Everyone was enjoying the festival. These sentences help create a picture of what was happening in the background. 5. Describing temporary situations in the past. The past continuous can describe temporary actions or situations that existed for a period of time in the past. Examples. I was staying with my uncle during the summer. She was working in a restaurant last year. They were living in Phnom Penh at that time. We were taking extra English classes. He was learning how to drive. Positive sentences. Structure. Subject plus was or were plus verb ing. Examples. I was reading a novel. She was studying English. We were waiting for the bus. They were playing volleyball. He was writing a report. Negative sentences. Structure. Subject plus was or were plus not plus verb ing. Examples. I was not sleeping. She was not listening. We were not watching TV. They were not working.
He was not studying.
Contractions. Wasn't equals was not. Weren't equals were not. Examples. I wasn't feeling well. She wasn't paying attention. They weren't playing football. Question sentences. Structure. Was or were plus subject plus verb ing. Examples. Were you studying last night? Was she reading a book? Were they playing football? Was he working yesterday? Were we waiting too long? Short answers. Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. Yes, they were. No, they weren't. Common time expressions. The past continuous is often used with at 7 o'clock yesterday, at that moment, yesterday, last night,
While.
when, all morning, all afternoon, all evening. Examples. I was studying at 8 p.m. last night. She was cooking all afternoon. They were working all morning. We were talking while the teacher was explaining the lesson. He was sleeping when I arrived. Past simple versus past continuous. Past simple focuses on a completed action. I finished my homework. She visited her grandmother. Past continuous focuses on an action in progress in the past. I was doing my homework at 8 p.m. She was visiting her grandmother when I called.
Compare.
I watched TV last night. Completed action. I was watching TV when my friend called. Action in progress interrupted by another action. More example sentences. I was studying English when the phone rang. She was reading a novel all evening. We were preparing for the exam yesterday. They were playing games during the break. He was working late at the office. The teacher was explaining the lesson. The students were listening carefully. My parents were traveling around the country. The dog was barking loudly. The rain was falling heavily throughout the night. Conclusion. The past continuous tense is used to describe actions that were happening at a particular time in the past, actions that were interrupted by another action, and two actions occurring at the same time in the past. The formula is was or were plus verb ing. It is commonly used with words such as while, when, yesterday, last night, and at that moment. For example, I was studying when my friend called. She was cooking while her sister was cleaning, and they were playing football at 5 p.m. yesterday. By practicing the past continuous tense regularly, you'll be able to describe past events more clearly, tell better stories, and speak English more naturally and confidently. The past continuous tense is a valuable part of English grammar that helps us describe actions that were in progress at a specific time in the past. It is commonly used for ongoing actions, interrupted actions, background information in stories, and situations where two actions were happening at the same time. The basic formula is was or were plus verb ing, and it is often used with words such as while, when, yesterday, last night, and at that moment. By understanding and practicing the past continuous tense, you will be able to describe past events more clearly and naturally. For example, you can say, I was studying when my friend called. She was cooking while her sister was cleaning, or they were playing football at 5 o'clock yesterday. These sentences help listeners understand what was happening during a particular moment in the past. Remember that learning a new tense takes time and practice. Try using the past continuous tense when talking about your daily activities, memorable experiences, or stories from your past. The more you practice speaking, writing, reading, and listening, the more confident you will become. Keep practicing, stay curious, and continue building your English skills. Soon, using the past continuous tense will become natural and easy. Happy learning, and keep up the great work!